Hey guys, I know that no one is watching right now because this is a very spontaneous live stream, but I wanted to hop on here, go live because I haven't done this in a while. So right now I'm just talking to no one as I wait for someone to show up. But I guess I just wanted to do a live stream because it's been a minute since I've done a live stream. Just me on my own asking, or I should say, answering your guys' questions. So I wanted to hop on here and just go live for a little bit and answer any questions that you guys might have. So, how's everyone doing? If you're catching the recording, I hope it goes well. I hope it went well. I hope it met your expectations. But right now, I'm just chilling in my house in Utah. I finished my homework for the day and wanted to go live just to chill with friends from YouTube. I see Joey's on here, so hey Joey, you're my audience member right now, man. So ask me something that I can answer, so that I can actually have something to talk about. I have plenty of things I could talk about. If all else fails, I could just go through my letterbox list. That'd be a blast. But in fact, I might actually do that. That'd be so fun. I'm gonna pull up Letterboxd right now. I've always thought it'd be so fun to go live and just talk about your movies you're watching on Letterboxd, as well as like lists you have on Letterboxd, all that fun stuff. So I might have to resort to that. But this was a spontaneous live stream. I didn't announce it or anything, and so I'm just kind of going with the flow right now, honestly. But to those who are in the chat right now or in the audience, ask me your movie questions and let's find some answers, to quote Ariel from The Little Mermaid. And also, of course, you guys are more than welcome to answer the questions just as much as I am. Sorry, it always happens when I'm trying to get on the live stream. Okay, so Joey's here for me. Okay, so Joey asks, favorite voice actor? Gosh, I don't know actually. Well, so okay, according to my letterbox, I have seen my second most viewed actor of all time. Let me make sure I get his name right. Is I think it was Jim Cummings. Let me just make sure though. Yeah, it's Jim Cummings. And fun fact, I got to see him at this Comic Con I went to. It wasn't, I guess it wasn't Comic Con, it was FanX. And I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you can see what I'm seeing here. Okay, so let me just pull up my stats, my all time stats, and we'll get something pulled up for you. Okay, so I saw him at FanX and I didn't get a picture with him or anything because it's hecka expensive, but I was able to see him with my eyes, so that was pretty cool. And then on top of that, I saw Lou Ferrigno, the guy who plays Hulk, super random. And then I saw a few other actors. There's one actor from Hunger Games that I saw, which was really random, and a few other actors. But I'm going to show you what I'm seeing right now. So these are my stats for my all-time stars. Like every actor, the most actors I've seen in my life. So James Stewart sits at number one. Uh, by a pretty large number. You know, there's like a 7 film gap right there. But Jim Cummings, right here, I've seen 29 movies with him. So I click on his movies, and these are all the movies I've seen. So I believe he does a lot of. So he plays Pooh. That's like what his best known role is, and so that's kind of cool. That's really cool. What am I talking about? But then he plays just like a lot of side characters. Like he also plays Ed in The Lion King, which is super cool. And it's just random. It's like a random uh flex I have where I can just say I've seen that guy in real life. But after that, the other actors I've seen, Samuel L. Jackson, of course, because he's in every other movie out there. There's Star Wars, then there's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Sorry, my connection's kind of slow right now. Tom Hanks is up there as well. John Ratzenberger is another voice actor. John Goodman, because he's also in everything. All these actors are great. But in answer to your question, Joey, that very long answer, I would probably say Jim Cummings, just because I've seen the most of him. So Let's go to this question now. Kenny is your favorite? I'm gonna look up who that is because oh, okay, the voice of SpongeBob. That's great. Yeah, no, that's an awesome choice, honestly. Good taste. Have you watched any videos from Shafrilla's Productions? That sounds really familiar. I'm going to look them up real quick because I don't know why I'm blanking on that, but it sounds super familiar. Wait a second. Is Shafrilla? Oh, it's a YouTube channel. Oh, that's why it sounds so familiar. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, no, I have definitely watched videos. I was thinking for a second that it was a movie studio, but yeah, I've definitely seen videos from Shafrilla Productions. His editing is just top notch. Like, I love the editors. And I think what he does is he makes the videos and then he sends them to third party. I don't know if you would even say third party, but he sends them to fellow collaborators and they edit it for him because I've noticed that it says like this clip was edited by this YouTuber, things like that. And that's super cool. I can never do anything like that, mostly because like YouTube isn't my main career. It's a YouTube isn't even really my career, let's be honest. It's a side hobby where I make a few bucks every few months. Like I'll be completely transparent. I make $100 every 2 months, maybe. And I just checked my bank the other day and I got $110 check. So I was like, that's always nice, you know, but I'm not doing it for the money, that's for sure. Because if I were, I don't even want to think about how much I'd be getting paid an hour. It would be like 5 cents an hour if I'm doing it like that. Oh, you met Lou? He seemed upset. Yeah, I didn't officially meet him, so I don't even know what his what am I trying to say? His like demeanor was at the time. Thoughts on modern day musicals. By the way, I'll change my screen. Let me stop sharing. We'll share some more in a minute. Thoughts on modern day musicals. La La Land and In the Heights are really great movies, but what do you think is the biggest difference between older musicals and new ones? That's a really good question. I mean, besides the obvious answer where it's like older movies had a code that they had to live by, so they couldn't include like swearing or sexual scenes, things like that. Like they could, they had a fine line of what they could and could not include. Modern day musicals obviously don't have that problem. That's the biggest difference. But I think that I'm trying to think of like a big difference because I know the difference is definitely there. Maybe I could use, there's a book I could use to my aid. I've always wanted to do this where I'm like live and I'm like, oh, let me recommend a book. But here we have TCM Must See Musicals. Let's take a look through this good old book, see what we can find out. This isn't going to answer your question, but I want to look through it anyways because it'll give me an idea. Because right now, whenever I'm on a live stream, I feel like my mind just goes blank. I'm like, what's a musical? But looking through this book will probably help me a little bit. So, by the way, if you guys haven't heard of this series, TCM, they release recommendations, 50 movies. 50 movies that you should watch in different genres. And it's such a cool series. I have this, and then there's one other edition going on another field trip that I own. There's several editions, but I only own one other one. It's summer movies. It's so cool. Like I love that that's a genre. This one is 30 movies. And at one point, I was going to make a video where I, go through the books and kind of unbox them in a way. Unbox them. What I mean by that is going through the pages. But if you go on Letterboxd, you can see every movie that they recommend. So it's not that exciting. Anyway, so I want to go through this book to kind of get an idea. So at the beginning of the musicals book, this might kill some book owners, but I don't mind writing in my books. That's the purpose of owning a book, to make it yours. So I put a check mark next to every time I see a movie. And I feel like I'm like the teacher to the first grade class, like, okay, kids, story time. But so I've seen The Broadway Melody, which was awful, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, The Wizard of Oz, Yankee Doodle Dandy, Holiday Inn, which was also, I wasn't a big fan of that either. An American in Paris, Singing in the Rain, Gigi, which I hated, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, classic, West Side Story, classic, Music Man, haven't seen it in years, Hard Day's Night, Mary Poppins, My Fair Lady, Sound of Music, Grease, Beauty and the Beast, Chicago, and La La Land. So in this book, the most recent movie is La La Land. I think sometimes I appreciate that older movies had a strict code to live by. Sometimes I just wanna watch a movie and not worry about any political messages they're trying to sneak in there or, any innuendos they're trying to sneak in there. That's a big reason I love older movies, but in answer to your question, I didn't even answer your question. I do like modern day musicals. La La Land is in my top 10 of all time. I was not a fan of In the Heights. I just didn't like the story. I didn't like the characters, and I thought it was really long too. And I haven't seen Dear Evan Hansen yet. My town does $5 Tuesdays, and I'm a cheapskate, so I will be seeing it on Tuesday. So Gavin never misses a stream. Third Man or Citizen Kane? That is the question of the day, my friend. I love both movies, and it's a little unfair because right now Citizen Kane has a lead because I've seen it way more times. I've only seen The Third Man once, but I own it. In fact, it's like, oh, oops, it's right here. Like I have the movie right here, and I know I need to watch it again, but rewatches are rare these days because I'm trying to watch so many movies for upcoming videos. So I just remember loving The Third Man so much, but right now I'll say Citizen Kane. That would probably change on a rewatch of Third Man though. Okay, really quickly, there were some comments about musicals, and I want to quickly address those. Speaking of musicals, I just saw Dear Evan Hansen. I hated it, but it made me want a really good modern adaptation of a Broadway musical. Yeah, I've heard really mixed things about it. I've heard that it's awful, but then I've heard people say it's not nearly as awful as what everyone else is saying. So at this point, I'm just excited to see it for my own eyes, get my own opinion. But I do think Ben Platt has a great voice, and I'm saying that from my experience of listening to Grow as We Go 5 million times. But I'm interested. My whole family saw it. They live in Arizona. I'm in Utah, so I wasn't with them, but they all liked it. But they also, I mean this in the nicest way, but they're not movie critics. Oh yeah, I've heard it's really bad. Kind of feel bad for it because all of yeah, Dear Evan Hansen wasn't. It's not getting the best reviews. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Don't worry, writing in books is a great way to keep track of your thoughts. I completely agree. Like if you saw my Francois Truffaut copy, eh, it's up there. It's like right here under Gone with the Wind. I wrote in that book a ton. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, I think. Hey, thanks. I don't think I've ever received money on a live stream, so I don't even know how to accept that, but that's really nice. I can now get a spicy McChicken at McDonald's. Yes, I'm eating good tonight. No, but for real, thanks, man. I'll have to look into that later on how to even collect that money. No idea how to do that. Yeah, I completely agree. Completely agree with that. Like I said, big reason I love older movies. Personally, I want to see more horror musicals. LOL. I don't think I could. Okay, no, that's not true. I was gonna say I don't think I've ever seen a horror musical. I have seen Sweeney Todd, the Tim Burton movie. I didn't like it. I love the SpongeBob music in The Third Man, and we have the same Blu-ray. Nice, dude. Yeah. Okay. Funny you say that. Just the other day, it was when Nick and I saw Citizen Kane in theater, so it would have been Wednesday night. I think it was on the way over to that. The Third Man music was stuck in my head, and I just thought to myself, why is that the music? Like, why did they go with that music? I think that is so funny. Recently watched both versions of The Man Who Knew Too Much. Which is your favorite? Definitely the remake. The best thing about the original one is Peter Lorre as the villain, but everything else is better in the remake. Okay, there was a question I skipped earlier because I wanted to make sure I finished the music topic. Casey asks, "What are your favorite film noir movies?" Okay, so Billy Wilder is a king of noir in my mind. So Double Indemnity, oh my gosh, Double Indemnity, Sunset Boulevard, and then The Lost Weekend. Those are some really good ones. But then Casablanca, absolute classic. And I know Nick, that's his like favorite black and white movie of all time. He told me that on Wednesday. So it's a very updated opinion right there. But actually, speaking of this, I want to show you guys my noir watch list because I actually want to participate in Noirvember this year. I guess that's a thing, and it's where you watch noir films in the month of November. It's exactly what it sounds like, and I know that there's a lot I want to watch. So the list is private right now. I don't know if you guys do this, but I have a lot of private lists because it just helps me keep track of what I want to see and whatnot. So here's a private list that you get to exclusively see right now. I love how I'm making it like a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. It's a letterbox list. Come on. But yeah, okay. Let me share this screen. Okay. We are sharing. So here's my watch list for Noirvember. Angels with Dirty Faces is what the fake movie in Home Alone was inspired by, so that really interests me. A bunch of Humphrey Bogart movies. Little Caesar with Edward G. Robinson, I've heard is great, and I'm really starting to like Edward G. Robinson, so I'm excited for that. James Cagney, I'm trying to get more into his filmography because I've only seen him in 1, 2, 3 and Yankee Doodle Dandy, and I feel like I need to see him for what he's really known for. This one, like, come on, this just freaking sounds noir. It doesn't get much more noir than that. Nightmare Alley, Guillermo del Toro has a new movie coming out soon. Not a remake of this movie, but a adaptation of the original story. But still want to see this. Maltese Falcon will be watched very soon. Another Edward G. Robinson movie right here. But anyways, White Heat also, I want to see that because it was referenced in Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. A lot of these movies were referenced in Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, and so I'm excited for that. But I'll quickly see if there's any questions regarding noir movies so that I don't get lost behind that. Okay. Wow. Guys, you are all here right now. So many people are here. This is so great. Thank you for being here. A lot of questions. So I don't see any about noirs. I'm looking. Okay, cool. Okay, rewatch Chinatown. How do I? Oh, that's why it's not working. Gosh, I feel dumb. I was on the YouTube video itself and I was trying to share a comment. That makes no sense. Rewatch Chinatown. Yes, I definitely need to do that. Because the first time I saw it, it was one of those movies where you go in with really high expectations, you see the movie, and then you're just like, is it that good? Is it? So I definitely need to give that another chance. What are some of those movies for you guys? For me, it's Chinatown, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Goodfellas. Sorry, It's funny because I'm asked what my favorite Martin Scorsese film is. I'll get there first in a second. Definitely watch Laura, and I love White Heat. Both is more, although okay, they're both more crime than noir. I kind of think of them as one and the same, and I'm very naive when it comes to noir. Not very naive, but I'm pretty naive when it comes to noir, so I could be wrong about that. But I kind of feel like a lot of noir, they are crime movies. Anyways, I watched Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid 2 days ago. Wonder what your thoughts were. What were your thoughts? Will you watch Night's Tailor on the Criterion channel? It's noir and leaves Friday night. Ooh, Night's Tailor. I don't even think I've never even heard of that. Oh, Stalker. Night Stalker. Wait, is that the? I'm just looking it up right now. I don't know if I'm spelling that right. So, okay, the only thing that IMDb is showing up is a TV show. Are you talking about a TV show? Oh, okay, I see. Mistyped. Laura is definitely noir. White Heat is crime. Okay, got it. The only reason I added White Heat is because it's referenced in Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, and Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid is screaming noir. And so I just assumed that it was a noir film. Might have got it wrong. It's with Gene Hackman. Yeah, I'm not sure. Night Stalker, it's only showing up TV shows or really low budget films. So I don't think that any of those would be on the Criterion channel. Excuse me. Okay, so I missed a few questions. So let's quickly go through these. Okay, I already went through that. So like any pre-code movies, a lot of those movies actually have a ton of innuendos and political messages. One of the ones I can think of is, I believe that Metropolis, that silent movie by Fritz Lang, I think that's pre-code because I remember watching it and thinking, my gosh, how was this passed? It's not awful or anything, but there definitely are some things where I'm like, whoa, hello. But I think that's pre-code. And then there's a lot of silent movies that are pre-code because for obvious reasons they're earlier movies. But I don't know the exact date that the Hays Code came into place. So I do like pre-code movies though. There are some that I like, but yeah. Anyways, I was watching an Alfred Hitchcock movie the other day called Rich and Strange. By the way, very much disliked that movie. But there's one scene where I could have sworn it just showed a topless woman, and I felt that movie came out maybe around 1931 or so. I feel like the code was already out, but maybe it wasn't. Okay, so you guys have gotten a good look at my Noir Vember watch list. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a different screen. So let's go to my lists, taking you along. I think what I'll do for this live stream is I'll just show you guys some of my lists while I answer your questions. I think that sounds like a blast. So if there are any if you go to my letterboxd right now, and if there are any lists you want me to talk about, let me know. I'll click on the lists and I'll talk about them. But here's a little sneak peek at my Wrapped Awards for next year. So I just cloned my earlier list. So this is like a copy and paste message right here. But if you weren't aware, Wrapped Awards are my own like Academy Awards where I give awards out to all my first time watches. Although I am going to make a category this year where it's my favorite rewatch. So that'll be fun. But if you have any questions about it, these are some of the nominees for this year. But while I stay on this page, I'm going to answer some questions because I'm getting behind. The same thing again where I go to YouTube. Gosh. Okay. Let's see. Do you like, okay, I already did that. Gosh, are you into are you into any more abstract out there stuff? It seems like The Elephant Man was your favorite Lynch movie and it's easily his most normal. I was just curious if you don't like abstract films. I like abstract films to a certain extent, but I would say that I don't like it as much as not the average person, the abnormal person more so, I should say. But it's definitely not a genre that I love as much as other people, and that's why David Lynch just isn't really my kind of director. And I agree. Of the movies I've seen, Elephant Man is definitely his most accessible movie, and that's my favorite one. So I think I like, this is so boring of me, but I like having closure in a movie, or I like having answers. But I don't want to contradict myself because I also like Andrei Tarkovsky, and his movies don't really have answers. So he's probably the furthest I go with abstract. I just like, for an example, oh my goodness, what is it called? It's the David Lynch movie that's on the Criterion collection that has a weird dinosaur baby. Oh my gosh. Eraserhead? I think it's called Eraserhead. Yeah, I didn't like that movie at all. That just was not my kind of movie. So, okay. So I'm going to keep going. Also, Cronenberg and Jodorowsky are some of my other favorite abstract auteurs. I hate that word because I can never say it. Yeah, everyone recommends me to watch Cronenberg, and I just don't think he's going to be my kind of director. So, why is sex trash? Tastefully done sex is okay in certain films. I never said it was trash. It's just not something I want to see in the movies I watch. And that's just a personal preference. That's all. Just watched Sweeney Todd the other day. I'm trying to see Burton's entire filmography and really didn't like it. That's so funny. I did Burton's complete filmography last October. And it was when I had COVID. And so I thank Tim Burton for keeping me company while I had COVID. Honestly, though, like watching Edward Scissorhand, Ed Wood, and Big Fish, like those movies while I had COVID, for whatever reason, I just love them. And I definitely cried in Big Fish. All That Jazz is probably my favorite musical. Also, I know you're just writing these names so that you can hear me mispronounce them. The Annette was a really enjoyable one. Yeah, those are really good choices. And I think All That Jazz is in my music book. I'll just check real quick. I can't remember. I always mix up All That Jazz with another movie. King of Jazz. That's what I mix it up with. Okay, King of Jazz is in the book, but All That Jazz is not in the book. So, sorry, TCM doesn't agree with you. Hey, Jacob. Thanks for joining, man. I am really enjoying watching Orson Welles' complete filmography. It's been a blast so far. Yeah, I stand on the same way. I think, or I know I do. Which was going on Criterion last night. Nice. Third Man is one of my top 10 scores. It's so just zany. I love it. Night in the City by Destin is amazing. Yeah, it's a Criterion I own actually. Um, it's somewhere over here, but I don't want to. Yeah, it's somewhere over there, guys. Night in the City. Got to watch some Brian De Palma for Noir Vember. Yeah, I need a Brian De Palma. He's a modern day noir, isn't he? Is he the one that's like a modern day Hitchcock? I've heard before that he's like he does what Hitchcock would have done if he could have done it. Have you seen In the Mood for Love? I adore that movie. No, I haven't, but it's on my radar. Don't miss The Night Stalker on the Criterion channel. It leaves Friday. Okay. As long as you get the right title to me. Since October is coming up, top 5 favorite horror films. Mine are The Shining, Psycho, The Thing, Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me, and Alien. All right, perfect. I know that you love Twin Peaks, Gavin. We're going to go to Letterboxd. I'm going to go to my favorite movies list. And then I'll edit it. I will sort it by genre, horror genre. So my favorite is Psycho. I think that goes without saying, although I just said it. Okay, genre. Let's do horror and see what the top 5 are. Oh, would you look at that? I only have 4. That's just perfect. All right, whatever. So Psycho, 10 Cloverfield Lane, Diabolique, The Ring, and all right, here's what we'll do. We'll go to my top 500 or my top 1,000 list, although it only has like a 500 on there. Cobra Critic with the donations, man. Thank you. Again, I have no idea how to collect those, but thank you so much. So back to this. So, wow, look at that blood. We're really getting in the spirit. Okay, I'm going crazy. Sweet. So, Nathan Hale's 1,000 favorite movies. Let's sort it by horror. By the way, this is in order of my highest rated to my lowest rated alphabetically. So that's why 10 Cloverfield Lane is at the top. That's not my number 1 movie, though I do love that movie. Okay, horror. We've got 10 Cloverfield Lane, Alien, Get Out, Psycho, The Babadook, Dracula, Hunchback of Notre Dame, The Innocents, It, The Others. I'm just going to leave this on here for you guys to look at it. But I'll keep it on that screen while I keep answering some questions. Those are some of my favorite horror movies and the ones I mentioned earlier. Favorite vinyls I own. Got my list right here. Got my vinyls right here. We got The Lion King, Soul. Let's see. Oh, fun. Some Nights. Nat King Cole Christmas, because you can't go wrong. And then Harry Belafonte. I can never say his name. I'm sorry. Another Christmas album. And then I have 2 Planet of the Apes up there. Bleachers right here on display. And of all those, my favorite is probably the Nat King Cole Christmas, because when I think of vinyls, I want to just listen to Christmas music all the time. Inland Empire. I'll have to add that to my watch list unless it's crazy and like a slasher. I don't like slashers. Yeah, okay. What's your favorite Scorsese film? Okay, we're finally kind of getting caught up. The Departed. I really like The Departed. Okay, I'm so sorry, guys. I've been through these so far. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up with what where I am. Okay, yeah, thanks, Eraserhead. I'm like so behind in the chat. You guys are amazing. E.T. is one I find very overrated and need to rewatch. I gave it. Okay. So that was back to when I was talking about a movie that you expected to be great and it wasn't. Cobra Critic, my man. Your poem review was great. Oh, for the Rich and Strange, thank you. Hey, Josh, thanks for joining. Matthew Little, Nathan scared of a pair of boobs and the F word. Is he 4? No, he's 24. I I have standards, man. I'm sorry. If it bothers you that much, then don't watch my videos. What are some favorite? Okay, I answered that question. Taboo by F.W. Murno has nudity throughout the entire movie. I was kind of shocked. LOL. Yeah, I was probably pre-code then. Hey, certain vids. Good to see you, man. How have you been doing? I want to get an updated favorite movies list from you someday. I remember watching that live stream. It's probably about a year ago now. It's crazy, but that was a really fun time. Straight Story is definitely Lynch's most normal. I'd put The Elephant Man at number 2 for that. I have heard that, and I am interested in seeing that movie someday. I did enjoy working at a movie theater. I worked at 2 movie theaters, one when I was in high school and one when I first started college. The first one in high school was definitely a better experience, but the college one wasn't bad. I mostly just stayed there for the benefits, but I enjoyed it for the benefits, but it's not a job I would probably ever go back to again unless I was in some sort of admin role. But I wouldn't want to go there just to work because I don't think they. It's like you're on your feet for so many hours, and it's like a minimum wage job. Like it's awful. But anyways. The Haunting of Hill House is a work of genius. My favorite miniseries, makes for a good Halloween watch. I'm in the middle of Midnight Mass run, which is good too. Do you watch TVMA unfiltered? No, I don't, just because it's like the same as rated R movies. But I am looking forward to watching the Midnight Mass filtered. For not having closure in film, LOL. Okay, cool. Let's just stop talking about content we watch and don't watch. I'm just going to pass over all those comments. It's not what we're here to talk about. I love movies the way you guys watch movies, just because it's almost like I feel like me not watching R-rated movies is you like not watching musicals or noir film or black and white movies. It's just a genre of movies that I don't like watching unfiltered. We're just going to leave it at that. If I see any other comments, I'm hiding them. Movie you wish you saw in theaters, La La Land, right here. I was on my mission, and oh, I would love to see that in theaters so much. Okay. Gosh, you guys really went hard on this topic. Yes, I will do that. My letterboxd is at Cinema Nate, I believe. So if you guys have any questions about letterbox movies, letterbox lists you would like me to talk about, go to my letterbox right now, comment a list, and then I will go to that list and just kind of chat about it. Parted, yeah. Okay. Let's Beethoven or Mozart. I don't have a preference, but I do like listening to classical music. Okay. What are your thoughts on Scorsese saying Marvel isn't cinema? This is a great question. I think that people get way too butthurt about his comments. And I saw a meme the other day where it's like, interviewer asks Martin Scorsese or Denis Villeneuve about their opinion on something. They answer it, and then everyone gets butthurt about it. And it's just like, it's funny because it's like, dude, they're just answering a question and they can have their opinion. So I agree with him to a certain extent. With that being said, I still love Marvel movies and I see every MCU movie. I think they're a fun time, but I didn't enjoy Shang-Chi that much because I thought that there was way too much green screen, way too much CGI, and it just wasn't a fun experience for me that much. I thought the fighting was good, but there's definitely, I think I'm like 60% siding with them. No, probably like 70% siding with them, 30% disagreeing with them. So take that for what it is. Thanks, Gavin. Yeah. So I took a film class in my undergrad, and supposedly we were supposed to watch it, but they changed the rubric, and so we didn't watch it. So we'll watch it someday. Don't watch R-rated movies. Yeah, no, I don't watch them unfiltered. So I use I use services such as VidAngel, which lets me choose what I filter out. And then I have Chrome extensions, which lets me filter out language if I so choose to do it. So that's where I'm at with R-rated movies. A lot of my older videos, I would mention that. So like if I was making a top 10 list of the year, I would say, just so you guys are aware, I don't watch R-rated movies. Any R-rated movies on this list are movies I watch filtered, but it got to a point where I just got annoyed at saying it because I would always get the comments of either, "Oh, you don't watch R-rated movies? You don't like movies," or I'd get a comment such as, "The directors didn't intend for you to watch a movie filtered. It's not true art if you watch it filtered." And that's a whole nother discussion for another day. But my attitude is I'd rather watch it filtered and take scenes out that I don't want to see than not watch it at all. So, and I thought about making a whole video devoted to why I don't watch R-rated movies unfiltered, but I think it would cause more damage than, I guess, like unity, and so I just don't think it's worth it. But to the people who are watching the live stream right now, you guys are probably my most faithful viewers, and so I feel comfortable telling you guys because I don't feel like I'll get shame or hate for a personal preference. Are you a sports watcher? Who's your favorite team? So I'm not a sports watcher. However, I'm going to the University of Utah right now, and I watched the football game the other night where it was Utah versus BYU, and I was sad that Utah didn't win. They haven't lost to BYU since 2009, and so they had a huge winning streak. And so it's good for BYU because they got a first win in like, what is that, 11 years? But otherwise, I don't really watch sports unless it's like the Super Bowl, and even at that, I mostly watch for the commercials, and then I'll watch sports if it's like some sort of impact to me. But as far as a favorite team, I just don't have one. I grew up loving the Phoenix Suns because I grew up in Arizona. Saw a basketball game. I saw Steve Nash. I was like 5 feet away from him as he was leaving the game. And as a kid, I was like, that was the coolest thing ever. But yeah, I've been trying to watch more Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman films. Do you have any favorites of theirs? So which have you seen so far? Because what we can do here is I'll show you which movies I have seen and make some recommendations accordingly. So let's go to Cary Grant. You know what? I need to cast Criterion Studios. Cary Grant. And then let's filter this to only movies that I have seen. Show watched films. Okay, so I have seen 11 movies from, okay, really 10 movies because Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid doesn't really count. But honestly, all of these movies I would recommend because I've never seen a bad Cary Grant movie. If I had to choose a least favorite of this list, it might honestly be Arsenic and Old Lace, which is crazy because Frank Capra is an amazing director. If I had to choose a favorite, it would be Notorious, but I also love North by Northwest and Charade. And then Bringing Up Babies, just a good time. His Girl Friday is just a good time. To Catch a Thief is good. Oh, Philadelphia Story, that's another one of my favorites, but I look at that as more as a James Stewart movie, although he's less of a character. But anyways, now let's look up Ingrid Bergman and filter it to movies I've seen with her. Now, I have, okay, these are all the movies I've seen, but a reminder, I'm doing the 25 movie challenge where I'm trying to watch more of her, and she's actually the least actor I've watched. I've watched 2 of hers, and everyone else I've watched 3 or 4 of. So I need to catch up on hers, but I've been focusing on Orson Welles recently. But of her filmography, my favorite is Casablanca or Notorious. But Autumn Sonata also is that's probably my favorite performance of hers, not my favorite. Spellbound is a really underrated Hitchcock. Under Capricorn is just not very good. The Bells of St. Mary's is a really feel-good Christmas movie. And then this is the same with Cary Grant, where she has a cameo, so it doesn't really count. Murder on the Orient Express, she's not in it too much. She was nominated for an Oscar, which is really random, but she does fine, but it's just like not her kind of movie, really. And Gaslight is just fine, I guess. But okay, so Notorious, yep. Thoughts on Wild Strawberries, one of the next ones on my watch list. I love Wild Strawberries. It's my favorite movie from Ingmar Bergman, and I need to rewatch it. That's another one that I need to rewatch. I've seen it once, and I liked it a lot, but I just haven't seen it again. Is there an old movie you'd like to be made into a shot-for-shot remake, like the Psycho remake, but hopefully better? That's a really good question. Okay, so I'm going to go to films that I've seen. That's not what I thought it was. Okay. Films that I've seen right there. And let's sort it by the decade. I'm just gonna do the 50s. That's my favorite decade of film, apparently. So let's look at the 87 movies I've seen from the 1950s and choose one I'd like to be remade. Um, House on Haunted Hill, because I'm always a sucker for horror movies. But if it were to be remade, I would want it to be in black and white also. The Bridge would be an awesome remake only because not a lot of people know about The Bridge. And so if you made a remake, people would know about it. Night to Remember, huh, that's okay. That's not a shot for shot remake, but we have the Titanic. A lot of these movies I love so much that I don't want to see them remade. So that's the hard thing. Yeah, we'll just go with what I said because a lot of these movies I just don't want them to be touched because they're like so good. Cary Grant is a good underrated one is Mr. Blanning's Built His Dream House. It's called Mr. Blanning's Built His Dream. That's such an old movie title. Old movie titles crack me up sometimes. Holiday is great. Yes, as a Criterion, and I love the cover, but I just haven't seen it. I find it a little very good movie though. Yeah, I could agree with that. Ingmar Bergman is another one of those directors that's a little bit more abstract, and there's a very fine line of how much Ingmar Bergman I want to watch, kind of thing. Like what I'm saying at that is, I definitely couldn't watch like 2 or 3 movies in one day. Whereas in Alfred Hitchcock, I've watched several movies from him before in a day. Have you watched Breaking Bad? No, but it's on my watch list. Nice. I'm guessing that Twin Peaks is your favorite show, Gavin. Thought Arsenic and Olays was too obnoxious for its own good. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. It's just like super crazy. It's not a bad movie by any means, but if I had to choose a least favorite Cary Grant, that's what I would say. Okay, nice. She won an Oscar. Okay, she won an Oscar. Nice, for Murder on the Orient Express. That's awesome. Who's your favorite artist slash band? Bleachers. And I'm seeing them in October in concert. I'm super excited for that. Crazy fact about me, I've never seen a concert before. I've never been to a concert. So I'm excited about that. Stromboli, that's one of the ones I'm planning on seeing for my 25 movies challenge. So funny you mentioned that. It only gets better. Nice. The House on Haunted Hills was remade in 1999. That's actually true. You're right. And I've seen it too. So I don't know why I didn't think about that. But I'd like to see a remake where it's black and white and it feels like an old movie. Kind of like Mank. Although that's not a remake. But you guys know what I mean. Sweet Life of Zack and Cody is my favorite. Oh, okay. Touche, Gavin. You got me. At least you didn't choose The Sweet Life on Deck because that show is awful. Even my young self thought it was awful. Persona is my favorite Bergman, and it's flipping amazing. I haven't seen it. So Bergman movies I've seen. Let's go ahead and look it up. Oh, wait. Ingmar Bergman. I have seen, I think I've only seen like 3 movies. Okay, yeah. Seven Sealed, Wild Strawberries, and Autumn Sonata. If I were to rank them, I would go Wild Strawberries, Autumn Sonata, Seven Sealed last. Never been to a concert either. Really? Nice. Yeah, okay. I guess if you count, there was a concert that I went to in undergrad, but it wasn't even really, it wasn't like a concert for like a modern day. Okay, I'll just tell you. It was the singer, if you guys have seen The Prince of Egypt, Brian Mitchell, he's the one who sings Look Through Heaven's Eyes. He visited my college, my undergrad, and I saw him in person. And so if that counts for anything, I guess I have been to a concert, but I've never been to one where it's like, you know, young adults or whatever, standing up, getting sweaty and all that, having a great time listening to music. That's my assumption of what a concert is. I wanted the Sweet Life on Deck to walk the plank. The Dodgers were back. Oh, gosh, I hate that so much. Favorite movie ending of all time? Mine's Before Sunset. No spoilers, I promise, for those who haven't seen it. The ending was just extremely satisfying. Before Sunset is this. Oh, that's a sequel, right? Yeah, that would be the sequel. Because Before Midnight's the third one, Before Sunrise is the first. Okay, yeah. I love the ending of Before Sunset. I agree. It's not my favorite, but I can see why it would be a favorite of yours. So, let's see. As far as my favorite endings, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. I know my favorite, but I'm not going to say it yet. I love all the endings to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. That's so random, but I've always liked those endings. Trying to think of like an older movie that I really like the ending to. You know what? I can't think of anything else, so I'll just say my absolute favorite. Wonderful Life. That's my favorite ending. Not only because the ending is amazing, but I mean, it's just such a feel good ending. And after the depressing story you go through with George Bailey, seeing that ending is like just so heartwarming. No, I've never seen them, but I want to see After the Thin Man because James Stewart is in it. So I want to at least make sure I see that one. Watched Guns N' Roses and Green Day in concert years ago. Nice, man. That's so funny. I'd love to see a World of Worlds movie set in 1897 and in London, like the original novel. It would be interesting to see a sci-fi with modern special effects set in late Victorian era. That would be so cool. Why don't we have that? That'd be amazing. I'm looking behind me because I have the World of Worlds book right behind me on my shelf, and I want to read it, but I don't know when I'll get to it. I wanted to try to read it in October because it's not scary, but it's sci-fi, which is close enough. But I think I'll read Frankenstein instead. Well, really, my main priority right now is finishing Dune, which book is over there. I'm halfway through it right now, and I like it a lot. It's just getting really good. Chinatown might have my favorite ending in The Godfather, Heat, and Blue Velvet. Godfather's ending is just so like I don't know how to explain it. It's just that sound effect I made. That's what it is. Okay, so I'm all caught up with the chat. I'll probably stay on a few more minutes, but okay, wait, really quickly. Chua also watched Ingmar Bergman film Summer with Monica. That was really his first masterpiece, and you could really tell that was where he found his style. I'm so down, and that one's a cheap Blu-ray too. I've seen it, and it's super cheap. Oh, I love the ending to Truman Show. Birdman, yes, ambiguous ending. Well, I've only seen a few of his films. Do you think Terrence Malick films don't really have a full-on plot/conclusion? Terrence Malick is another director that, unpopular opinion, but I'm just not. It's just not my kind of movie director. So let me make sure I'm thinking of the right person. Yep, I'm thinking of the right person. Tree of Life. That is the only movie I've seen from him, and I wasn't a fan of it. And so, what you're saying right there, I think I would agree with that. It's just kind of his movies just kind of happen, and I want some sort of closure. Nice, Joey. Yeah, just keep going, man. It's funny because a lot of people said that the first 200 pages are like just really slow and not that good. I disagree. Like the first 200 pages were good enough for me to get to page 325, and so obviously they're pretty good. Yes, they're not as exciting as what the part I'm at right now, but still, like it's just cool. I Seinfeld is coming to Netflix, and I'm gonna try to watch it. Sorry, Gavin. Okay, let's look at some of my lists. Okay, so Halloween watch list now playing. Favorite Criterion I've ever seen. 2021 ranked. Let's go through favorite performances of all time. And this is alphabetical. And I just want to kind of go through what I'm thinking here. It's fun with this list because you guys are probably expecting only Oscar performances and whatnot because these are my favorites. But I'm not talking about like the best. I'm talking about my personal favorites, and that's why Andrew Garfield, an Amazing Spider-Man, is on the list because hello, I like him as Spider-Man. So 10 Cloverfield Lane, John Goodman and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. If you guys haven't seen 10 Cloverfield Lane, please watch it, especially this October. That is the time to watch it. It's not scary, but it's a great thriller. Like seriously, it's not even just like a movie where it's like, yeah, it's a really good movie. You should watch it. This is like top 25 for me. I love it. It's so good. 12 Angry Men, Henry Fonda, Lee J. Cobb. I actually don't need to see the notes because I made this list. So I'm going to go back to the other format. But okay. Oh, man. Gavin, you ruined it. Now I'm really confused of what. Oh, wait, never mind. I was going to say I'm curious what part 2 will be, but if you are almost done with the book, that would be part 2. I heard about that too, but I'm honestly loving the slow pacing. Yeah, it's like not even bad. Are you joking, or did you actually spoil it? Oh yeah, he's joking. That'd be such an awful ending, and then I would question like, what are every other sequel to Dune about? Because there's like 50 sequels. But anyways, Robin Williams for Aladdin, both actors in Amour. Couldn't tell you their names. Christian Bale, he gets overshadowed by Heath Ledger, but I think he is a great Batman. I think in this one I have all of them, probably. Orson Welles, I just added this to the list. The main choir teacher is great in this. Matt Damon in Bourne, because it's a performance that you never hear talked about because it's an action movie, but he's so good in it. I wouldn't like those movies the same way if it wasn't him. That might not be true, but he's a big reason that I love the movies. Gary Oldman. This one is for Tom Hardy. This one's obviously for Heath Ledger, Robin Williams, and I think I have Ethan Hawke and the other main guy on this too. Bela Lugosi. Is it Vincent Bela Lugosi? I can't remember his name. Freaking Greg Heffley. I think he does a good job. Will Ferrell, Christian Bale in this young role. Oh my gosh, Anthony Hopkins will completely stand his performance. I've never used the word stand before, so this is new for me. Ryan Gosling and Claire Foy. Claire Foy especially was snubbed of an Oscar nomination. Those are some of my favorite performances. And then they all died. Yeah, that would be. I don't know if you guys have seen Community, but there's an episode where Abed is getting into a TV show, and he's super into the TV show. It's like this British TV show, and he's so into it. And like on the end of season 2, like all the characters choose to drink poison and die together, and Abed just goes into like a depression because the show literally ends with them all dying. So if that was, and then they all died, I think that would actually be really funny. I'd be mad, but I would also find it funny on how nonchalant the author just announces that they all died. Because it's like this 600-page book, for my edition, is 617 pages of the actual story. You go through this whole adventure with them, and then it's just like they all died. It's like, all right, it's great. But anyways, I'm just kind of, if you guys are just joining, I'm scrolling through my favorite performances of all time list. For this, it's The Tiger. Great performance right there. So yeah, look at this. Naomi Watts. Just because I don't like, okay, I don't even dislike Mulholland Drive. It's not my kind of movie, but I still recognize it as one of my favorite performances because I loved her in it. And then we're still going. Paul Rubens. I've decided that I think he should have been nominated for an Oscar for this movie. Might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't even care. Jimmy Fallon agrees with me. It's really random, but just take that for what it's worth. Anne Hathaway as Mia Thermopolis. Come on. Naomi Watts again in The Ring. James Stewart. Grace Kelly might be on this. Harrison Ford, obviously. This is, okay, this is, I got to explain this one. This is a favorite because it's so laughably bad. That's why it's favorite, not best. Everyone in this movie is amazing. Tobey Maguire, oh, love that guy. Andrew Garfield mostly, but Jesse Eisenberg as well. Haley Joel Osment. Hayden Christensen, screw all the fans that don't like him. Excuse my French. So dumb. Pardon my French. I think this was for the main actress, Gloria Bell. I think I'm blanking on her name. Yeah. This is for Gregory Peck and Mary Badham. John Candy, of course. Everyone gives a good performance here. Andy Serkis, Joaquin Phoenix, and Reese Witherspoon. Come on. James Stewart, Jean Arthur, whole cast is fun. This is another cast where I'm talking about James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender specifically. Jessica Chastain, I'm off and on with this because I think Jennifer Lawrence did amazing in Silver Linings Playbook, but Jessica Chastain, man, she was a close. I'm off and on with who I think should have won because I loved her performance in Zero Dark 30. She is such a good actress. Like, I saw The Eyes of Tammy Faye earlier this week, and the movie's all right, but her performance, oh my gosh, it's amazing. All right, so I'm going to catch up with some of the comments. Which one did you like? Do you like more, The Truman Show or Groundhog Day? Without a doubt, The Truman Show. I love The Truman Show so much. That's another top 25 for me. In fact, let's just go to my favorites list. All right, if it's not in the top 25, it's at least up there because I know I love that movie so much. Truman Show is number. Oh, look at that, number 25. And also earlier I said 10 Cloverfield Lane is in the top 25, number 20. So this is my favorites list. Naomi Watts is incredible. I agree. You should watch Vivacious Lady. It's a feel-good movie and an overall hidden gem in James Stewart's filmography. Yeah, so back when I was actively doing the recommend a movie for me to watch, or you choose which movie I watch, it was between Vivacious Lady and Bringing Up Baby, I think. Or no, it was between Vivacious Lady and All About Eve. No, not All About Eve. The Lady Eve, a Criterion. And I had people vote on Instagram, and deep down, I wanted Vivacious Lady to win. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but I wanted that to win because I love James Stewart. The Lady Eve won. I ended up watching The Lady Eve, and it was a fine movie, but I would have rather watched the James Stewart one. But with that being said, I will watch it someday because I have it on my bucket list to see every James Stewart movie. Who was your favorite performance in Shadow of a Doubt? Dude, that is a great question. Oh my gosh, okay, oh wow, for some reason I was thinking of Strangers on a Train. Honestly, oh, that's hard. I mean, Joseph Cotton and Teresa Wright, they're like the main stars, of course, and so I gotta go with them. But I will say I also just love seeing Henry Travers, the one who plays Clarence the Angel in Wonderful Life. I love seeing him play the dad. That's just so funny to me. But I can't choose between Teresa Wright and Joseph Cotton. I'd probably choose Teresa Wright, but it's hard. They're both good. Jessica Chastain is my favorite actress currently working in Hollywood. Timothy, have you seen the Eyes of Tammy Faye? Curious what your thoughts are. Anyways, I'll keep going through my favorites list. This is a movie that you will see on the Wrapped Awards for favorite rewatch. It's at least going to be a nominee because I really love this movie. But speaking of the Wrapped Awards, I kind of want to go through my list of movies I've seen this year and just kind of give you guys an idea of what will be contending. First time watches 2021. So a change that I'm making to the Wrapped Awards this year, I think I'm going to do this, is I think I will include movies from the released year. And so last year I said it's all movies that were first time watches except for 2020 releases. This year I think I'll include 2021 releases. Just because I'm still counting that there's still first time watches and they shouldn't be excluded just because of the year they were released. And so these are the movies I watched in 2021 in order of when I watched them. So that's why you get Secret of Kells at the top here because that was the first movie I watched this year. But then you got a 2020 release right here, and then okay, that's in the 2020. I don't even know what the first 2021 movie I saw was, but this right now, this year, will be the most watched year I've ever had because I have already beaten the amount of movies I watched in 2018 and 2019. I haven't yet beat 2020, but I'm like 13 movies away from beating it, and we're in the month of September. So I am confident that I will beat that. But it's fun to look at this list of movies I've watched because I see a lot of Billy Wilder movies. It just reminds me like Stalag 17, Spirit of St. Louis, The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes, Love in the Afternoon. It just reminds me of the time when I was going through his filmography, and it's good times. Okay, let me quickly catch up with some chat questions. Shadow of a Doubt is top 20 for me. Is this top 20 of all time? Because if so, great taste, my friend. Joseph Cotton and Teresa Wright. Yep. Started reading the Potter books after your ranking, just finishing the 4th now. I'm so glad to hear that. Wow. I'm so glad to hear that. I love Harry Potter. The 4th book is amazing too. I hope you like the movie. I'm sure you've seen the movie, but the movie is not a very good adaptation. Okay, it's a good adaptation, but at the same time, it's not. Okay, got it. Yeah. It's a pretty good movie, Tammy Faye. Has Henry Travers ever played a villain? I can't imagine, LOL. So in the Bells of St. Mary, I mentioned it earlier in the stream. It's with Ingrid Bergman and Bing Crosby. He doesn't play a villain, but he plays like a rich guy who's kind of like all about his money. But then he kind of flips and he's a good guy in the end. So that's the closest I've ever seen him to playing a villain. But yeah, I can't imagine it either. Favorite first-time watches so far, mine's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Jim Carrey's absolutely incredible. Yeah, so, really quickly, Thanks for clarifying that. That's great taste right there for Shadow of a Doubt. Okay, first time watch favorite of the year so far. Okay, what I'll do is I'm gonna sort this by my highest rating first, and that will tell you. I don't have an answer right off the top of my head, but I know that once I see the highest rated ones first, then I will know. Okay, so what did I? Okay, so that's 9.5, 9.5. All right, so this top 10 right here, these are the 10 out of 10s I've given to first time watches so far this year. If I were to choose one that was my favorite, oh, it's so hard. I don't know. I don't even know if I can choose a favorite. They're so good. They're all so good. Oh man. I cannot choose. I will choose eventually, obviously, because I have to for my Wrapped Awards. But right now, okay, first I'm gonna exclude this because it's a documentary. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is probably not it because it's a very depressing movie. Oh, I just think of Anthony Hopkins' performance and I want to say it. This is a very seasonal movie that, excuse me, I know I'll be watching every Easter probably, but I don't think it's my favorite. It's more of a movie that I'm like, I love that movie and I want to keep watching it every year. All the President's Men was, oh, I loved it so much, but I'm a little scared I won't like it as much on a rewatch. The Freshman was just so funny. A Night to Remember was just so impressive. From Here to Eternity was my first Frank Sinatra movie I had ever seen, and I thought he was so good. But I also loved Montgomery Clift in it, and then Donna Reed's in it too. And it was just a good movie, and it was sadder, more sad, whatever, than I thought it would be. So, oh, that's a serious contender. Sherlock Jr. It's so perfect. It's like only like 45 minutes long, but it's so good. And then The General is just great too. The General was the movie I was thinking about when I saw Shang-Chi, and I thought to myself, I'm watching a movie released in 2021 right now, yet all I can think about is a movie from the 1926. And it just showed me that I like practical effects way more, and I appreciate older movies. Not more than modern movies, but I just love old movies so much. But anyways, there's an idea of what some of my favorites are, Joey. If I had to choose one today, it would probably be From Here to Eternity, Sherlock Jr., Freshman, or Night to Remember. Sorry, like I'm giving you all these options. I don't even know. Don't worry if you can't choose. Thanks, man. There's my top 10 right now. But I'm excited to see how much it changes by the time the year ends. Over the Garden Wall is amazing. The soundtrack's also amazing. I do like it. I did like it a lot. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was great. Am I a James Bond fan? I'm not, but I have seen all the Daniel Craig movies, and I've seen the first Sean Connery movie. And I own this last Amazon Prime Day, I bought the set for a cheap price. And so it's something that I'm meaning to get through someday. But as of right now, it's kind of a thing where I'm so committed to so many videos I have coming up that I just don't know when I'll be able to watch a James Bond movie. Fourth is my favorite Potter movie for some reason. Oh, so maybe you'll still like the movie. That's good. Looking forward to No Time to Die. Fourth book is almost feels like you're actually going to Hogwarts. It's the most immersive Harry Potter book. The fourth book is one of the best instances of laying subtle hints for the reader and then everything coming full closure, and it's just super satisfying. I love the fourth book. I love all the books. I enjoy the stuff that was in the book, but can see why they cut it out of the film. See, I don't see why they did, because there are plot points that they leave out of the book. But I'm not going to talk about it here. I have a whole entire video talking about every pro and con I have with the Goblet of Fire movie, so watch it there. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest book is really good as well, and as good as the movie. Honestly, I don't even know when I'll revisit the movie. I can't even think about reading the book right now. Have you read the book Unbroken or seen the movie? I've seen the movie 2 times. It's actually on the list of, I have a list on Letterboxd for every movie I've seen more than 2 times, and that's on that list. And I like the movie. I have not read the book, but it's on my read list. I really want to read it. Most anticipated 2021 release right now, it's Dune and Spider-Man No Way Home. but I'm also excited for some more underrated movies. So anytime I don't have a formal list on Letterboxd of 2021 releases because I figure I can just go to my watch list and sort it by a year. So that's what we'll do right now. We're going to go to the year, sort by 2020s. I don't know. Okay, here it is, 2021. So these are the movies that I want to see coming out this year. Some have already been released and I just haven't gone around to them. So Val, that's already been released. Oxygen is out. Dear Evan Hansen. But other movies that haven't been released, I'm excited for Don't Look Up, No Way Home, West Side Story. I guess I'm excited for that. And then I'll see Encanto just because it's Disney, but I don't even have an opinion on that. I'm excited for Last Night in Soho, but I'll probably see it on streaming because it will likely be R. No Time to Die, I don't know yet if I'll see it in theaters or not. Venom, I'm mostly excited just to have a good time. Tick, Tick, Boom looks great because it's Andrew Garfield. And then there's Dune, and then French Dispatch I'll get to eventually. But yeah, there's an idea of movies that I'm looking forward to in 2021. Have a great night. Take care and have fun. Thank you so much, Joey. Thank you for joining the stream. Do you like any of the Universal Monster movies or space invasion movies like It Came from Outer Space? So Universal Monster movies, it's funny you mentioned that because I have the box set right here. So I've seen every movie from this box set, and my favorite of the set is Wolfman. And then I also love, all right, we'll fix that later. I also love Dracula, The Invisible Man, and Frankenstein. Those are like my favorites, which is so cliche, but those are the best ones to me. Creature from the Black Lagoon is also one I liked, but it's cool. One of the theaters here in Utah, they're playing what's it called? They're doing a double feature of Wolfman and Invisible Man, and then a double feature of Frankenstein and Dracula. And Nick and I are going to catch the Wolfman and Invisible Man one, and I'm really excited to see that. Besides Bond, I'm looking forward to seeing Last Night in Soho. It's fair. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to show one more list off just because I thought of it, and I think it'd be a fun list to talk about. But this is a list of movies that I have seen more than once in the theater, more than twice in the theater. So 2 times or more. And I'm going to have to scroll through it a little bit. Sort by list name. I'm trying to get a gauge because I have like almost 100 lists, and so I have to go to the M category. Let's go to page 4, see if it's there. Oh, we're on the C's. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's go to 6. But while I'm looking that up, okay, this will be it. So now we got to go to 5 because that's not going to be it. We're going to get there someday. All right, maybe I don't know the name of the list. That's perfect. So let's sort it by a different name. We're just going to scroll through until I find it. I just want to show some movies off that I've seen more than 2 times in the theaters. There's the question of the hour. I get it every chance. Do you like the title for the next Fantastic Beasts movie? No, I don't. Secrets of Dumbledore? Like, no, I don't like it. Okay, I'll answer this question while I'm looking for the list. So the reason I filter movies is because I grew up just not watching R-rated movies, and even when I moved out of the house and everything, I decided that it was a tradition I wanted to continue. I've seen R-rated movies unfiltered, and they're just not my kind of movies. I prefer movies that, well, are filtered to a certain extent. And so if I watch any R-rated movies, I watch them filtered through VidAngel or through another sort of service like a Google Chrome extension where it can bleep out the swear words. It's just a personal preference, and that's really the answer. I think sometimes people are expecting this grand answer, but it's really not that complicated. It's just not something I like to watch. I said this example earlier, but it's kind of like, let's say you, for an example, you don't like watching musicals. It's just because you don't prefer to watch musicals. I don't prefer to watch R-rated films unfiltered. It's just a preference of mine. And so any movies that come out are rated in the theaters, I wait for them to hit streaming services. And that's oftentimes why my top 10 movies of the year lists, like those videos, come out so late because I'm usually waiting for the last few movies that I want to see. But I've been talking and getting distracted. So knowing me, I probably scrolled right past the list. And so if I can't find it on these next pages, I'm just going to give up and move on to a new topic. There's only one other topic that I want to talk about tonight, and that's just kind of like the future of the channel, what I plan to do. Yeah, I can't find it, guys. Anyways, you'll see on my letterbox if you're really interested. But I hope that answered your question, Isaac. Really quickly, I just want to talk about, I want to say that I love watching movies still, and I'm watching a ton of movies. Usually what I do is when I have free time, I'll watch a movie. Even tonight, I'm about 30 minutes into the Alfred Hitchcock movie, Torn Curtain, and it's okay so far. But one thing that I don't like is I always regret committing myself to a video series or a video announcement, because then the movies I watch are specifically, they have to be tailored to that announcement. So for an example, Orson Welles' complete filmography is coming in October. So I want to watch all his movies before October, but that means that other movies that I would want to watch, such as a James Bond movie, for an example, it gets pushed aside because I'm like, nope, I got to watch an Orson Welles film. And then I have that going on the rest of the year. Like October, it's Orson Welles. November, it's Grace Kelly. December, it's Steven Spielberg. But then also in October, it's horror. And then in November, it's noir. And then December, it's Christmas. And so the rest of the year, my movies are basically planned out for me. But one reason I'm excited for 2022 is because I plan to not commit to making any videos and just kind of like letting myself go with watching whatever I want to watch. You know what I mean? And especially because like January is such a good time to do that. There's no themes to any month. You can just watch. And what I mean by themes is it's like October, it's horror. And I'm not watching horror because I'm expected to watch horror. I'm watching horror because I love horror. But December is Christmas. January and the months following, they're all movies you can just watch just to watch. And you can watch whatever genre you want. And so that's one reason I'm looking forward to 2022. But yeah, we'll just see what I end up watching. Okay, last question. What Criterions are you looking forward to picking up in the October flash sale or the November Barnes & Noble sale? I haven't decided yet if I'll participate in the October sale. I always like participating in those flash sales because it just slowly builds up the points to when I can someday get a $50 gift card from Criterion Collection. But I normally don't go too big out on those. Like normally get maybe 2 or 3 max. However, for both the flash sale and November sale this year, I won't be getting a lot. I say that every time, I know, but the ones that I'm interested in, Citizen Kane for sure, and that's mostly because I just rewatched it, but I would have gotten it regardless. But also Manchurian Candidate with Frank Sinatra and Janet Leigh. Really excited for that movie. It's been out forever, but I just seeing Frank Sinatra and how good he is at acting, and then reading that Psycho book about Janet Leigh, it makes me want to see a movie with both of them in it really badly. And then other than that, it's kind of just, Chimes at Midnight. I'll probably pick that up because I really enjoyed that movie, actually. And outside of that, it's a surprise. So, guys, it has been so fun to stream tonight. I needed something to do, and you guys have provided me with entertainment and a great time. So, thank you so much for viewing, for joining the spontaneous live stream. My next video will be out on September 30th. It will be about James Dean. Then after that, you can expect a wrapped episode for September, and then some more Twilight Zone content, an Orson Welles video. We'll just go from there. So I'm excited for the future, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.